You made it! Welcome to our 2023 Google Ads online course for local service companies. We're very, very happy and excited to have you here. So once again, my name is Mike Serwinski, and I am the co-founder and president of Metalogic Design. We have been in business since 2009. We've worked with hundreds of local service companies. We've done thousands of campaigns in pretty much every single industry as it relates to local services. So you are gonna learn a ton. Sometimes it's gonna feel like you are drinking out of a fire hose, and that's good. That's how you grow. So we're gonna be taking you through step by step, and don't worry, there's plenty of support, and there's other people that are gonna be taking this course too that will be here to answer any questions you might have. We're very excited to have you, and let's dive in. Welcome back, everybody. This is a big day because today we are going to get started on the campaign. So first, we're going to need to go to ads.google.com, and you're going to land on a page just like this, okay? So we're just going to click Start Now. I'm going to use this email address, so pick an email address that you have, and let's log in. All right, here we go. So let's get started. What is the name of your business? Don't even worry about this part, okay? This is where Google loves to take control of things. I know it starts right off the bat, but trust me. Down below right here, you're gonna see, are you a professional marketer? Switch to expert mode. This gives you full control. Make sure you click on this button right here. And now we are in our account. Okay, so here, if you wanted to, you could put your business name. Don't have to. Or you can put in your landing page or website URL. Okay, I'm going to skip all that. I just want to get into the platform before Google starts pressuring me to do anything. So I'm just going to create an account without a campaign. Okay? This is the part where we are going to create a new payment profile. Okay, this is how Google gets paid. So you're not gonna get any further until you put in some credit card or debit card information. Okay, so make sure you put in the billing country, your time zone. This is important. Once you create your time zone, you can't go back and change it. Okay, so make sure your time zone is set up correctly. I'm on Central Time, Chicago time, and your currency. And you're gonna hit submit. Okay? Now let's explore. Okay, once we're in, this is where we have to start talking about the account structure, okay? Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video, we're gonna walk you through the structure of a Google Ads account. Okay, so this is really, really, really important when you are trying to set up your campaign, so you know exactly how you want it to be organized before you get started. So I'm going to take you through a few different examples, and hopefully this will help you in planning out your Google Ads campaign. So let's get started. Okay, welcome back everybody. In this lesson, we're going to take you through how the Google Ads account and the campaigns are structured. And we created a worksheet just like this for you to download, print out. If you want to write it out by hand, that's cool, however you want to do it. But this worksheet really helps you visualize how everything in a Google Ads campaign and account work. So please download the worksheet, fill it out before you even get started, because it's really going to help you understand and organize it. So let's get started. At the very top, you're going to see the account name. So that's the first thing that you do when you log into Google Ads. You're going to create an account. Usually it's your company name. Whatever you want to label it, it's okay. And like I've said, if this is the first time seeing my handwriting, please don't pay too much attention to it. Just listen more than look at it, because it's going to be tough to read. Make sure the volume's up for this. Everything that you're going to do in the account level is going to trickle down to the campaign, and it's going to trickle down to the ad groups, unless you tell Google otherwise. Okay? So the campaign is really the theme of all of your ad groups. Okay, so this is the theme of it. And everything you do at the campaign level is going to go to the ad group level. So I'm going to take you through several examples of different types of local service companies and how you could structure the campaign. So the campaign, on this worksheet, we're just going to focus on one campaign at a time. Okay, there are going to be reasons why you do want multiple campaigns. One of them being different locations. Okay, so let's say you're in Austin, Texas, but you travel a little bit for yours because you have a high ticket item. Let's say it's like very high end outdoor stereo systems that are 30, 40 grand a pop, or I have one for turf or a mortgage company who can service multiple areas. At the campaign level, that's where you're going to put in your specific geographic targeting areas. So one campaign could be Austin, the other one could be Dallas, could be San Antonio, so on and so forth. Okay, but if for this example, we're going to assume that you are a local service company that really just focuses in one geographic territory. Let's say, for example, we are a med spa and we focus on body contouring. Okay, so for this campaign, we're going to do body contouring. And we're going to create our ad groups all around the different types of body contouring keywords that we have found. Now, we want to make sure before we get into the ad groups, we want these ad groups to be very tight in terms of keywords. Okay, so here's an example. This first one is, let's say it's a brand that people are looking for. Let's say like cool sculpting. Okay, something that people would be searching for because it has brand recognition. Okay, now the next one we're going to do is body contouring, because people might be looking for body contouring near me. What if somebody puts in body sculpting instead of body contouring? Or you can, let's say there's another ad group and they do, somebody is searching for laser fat removal. Okay? What we don't want to do is have one ad group with all these different things in it. We don't want an ad group that focuses on contouring, cool sculpting, laser fat removal. We just don't want to have all those different variations in one ad group because it's not going to go over well. I promise you. So let's go back to cool sculpting. Within cool sculpting, you're going to have your ad, and then you're going to have variations of cool sculpting keywords in here. So we're going to call it cool sculpting service. We're going to have cool sculpting near me. We're going to have cool sculpting, let's say back to we're in Austin. You could do cool sculpting specialist. You could do provider. All those different variations are going to be in the cool sculpting ad group. Body contouring, same thing. It's going to be body contouring service, and then the same as these. Near me, provider, med spa, whatever it is. Same here. It's going to be body sculpting, yada, 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 yada. Okay? We want to make sure they're very tight and specific. So now that we have the keywords for each ad group, we want to make sure that our ad has these keywords in it. Okay, so it's going to be cool sculpting, service, and then you could have your city, name of the med spa, so on and so forth. But we want to make sure the ads have these keywords in them. Okay? That's important because that's going to help with your click-through rate, your quality score, and the overall performance of your campaign. Let's do another example. This time, let's do tree service. one of my favorites because I've done so many. And after you've done so many, you already have a lot of it figured out. So it's really helpful. Okay, so back to campaign. We are a local tree service company. So the campaign's going to be, just call it tree service or company name, whatever you want, just so you know what it is. Okay? Now, within tree service, there's going to be different ad groups. You're going to have, you do tree removals. You do tree pruning. You do tree trimming. You could have another one for stump grinding. You could just do one for tree service. Okay, so there's a bunch of different ad groups you're going to have. And then under each one, we want to have all the keywords related to tree removal. And we want all the ones for pruning, because believe it or not, pruning versus trimming, people search different things. Okay? And then in our ads, we want to make sure that we have removals. In here, we want to make sure we focus on trimming. And you might be saying, Mike, but we do all different types of things. We don't want to just show up for tree removals. Well, you're going to have tree service. And then once you start getting into these campaigns, each one of these is going to have different assets. So you can put in there for Sitelinks, tree removals, tree pruning, tree trimming, plant healthcare, arborist, all these different things. But I just want your mind to be thinking of how you want to organize each one of these ad groups. But for now, this is how you want to structure it. Keep it tight, tight, tight. Let's do another one. Let's do builder, specifically outdoors. Okay, let's say that we focus on outdoor living spaces. There's a lot that goes into outdoor living spaces, right? You could do all types of things, but let's say you do outdoor kitchens. You do paver patios. You could do pergolas. Whatever services you want to focus on and that makes the most money and has the highest profit margin, that's what we want to go after. So again, kitchens. This is all going to be about kitchens. Patios, specifically paver. Has to have paver, okay? If you do brick, set up another ad group for brick. And then all this is going to be pergolas. And then the ads are going to be specific to each one of those. If there's a kind of different types of outdoor kitchens you do, maybe there's different types of paver patios that you focus on. I don't know, but you want to make sure that the ads match the keywords. It's super, super important to keep it very relevant. Let's do another one. All right, let's set up a campaign for landscapers. Do a lot of those. Campaign name can be whatever. We'll just do landscaping service. But within landscaping, let's say you do lawn care. Let's say you do maintenance. And let's say you do groundskeeping. Okay, we want to make sure that they're very tight. So this is all going to be lawn care, maintenance, and groundskeeping. And in the ads, we want groundskeeping, maintenance, and lawn care. Keep them tight. Let's do another one. Okay, let's say we do legal work and we are a personal injury attorney. All right, so we'll do a campaign of personal injury. And within personal injury, you can break it down to be specific. So, car wreck,
truck wreck. We want to do personal injury attorney. Do another ad group for personal injury lawyer, because lawyer and attorney, they have different demographics, different device usage, different cost per click. Everything's different. So you want to make sure you keep them all in these separate buckets. And let's say you can even do one for accident. People just put an accident attorney. Okay, so we want to keep them real tight. Keywords are going to be all around car. Let's just scribble that. Car wreck, truck wreck, attorney, so on and so forth. And then in the ads, we want to show up for people looking for car wreck attorney or lawyer. So it's going to be all around car wreck, truck, and PI attorney. And as we go on, I'm going to show you all about the Sitelinks and the ads, so on and so forth. So I hope that this worksheet and these examples helped. You really want to start with what's your overall theme and how can you break it down to be super specific and granular, because the more specific you are in Google Ads, the better your campaign is going to perform. Okay, so let's go on to the next one.
Okay, now that we know about the account structure and how it all trickles down, the first thing you're going to do when you get into your Google Ads campaign is you're going to create your first campaign. So click one of those big blue buttons. Okay, what is your marketing objective? Remember, this course was created specifically for local service companies who are trying to grow their business and generate more leads, okay? Leads, that's phone calls and form submissions. People looking to pay money for a service, okay? So your options are sales. We don't want sales because that's for people who want to purchase something from an e-commerce website. We don't care about website traffic at all because traffic doesn't equal sales. We don't care about pushing our brand. We don't care about local store visits. We don't have an app, and we're not too concerned about building our brand. We want leads, okay? So this is the world we're going to live in, leads. So we're going to click leads. And then from here, okay, so here's the different types of campaigns. Search, performance max, which is another way of Google saying we're going to control everything and not get the best return on your investment. Display, those are the actual visual ads that you see throughout the apps and all the websites that you visit. Those are more for branding. We don't want branding. Shopping doesn't apply. Video doesn't apply. And discovery doesn't apply. We want somebody who's looking for lawyers near me, dentists near me, landscapers near me, service companies and service-based searches. That's who we want. And we want to land right on that first page of Google where you'll see the text search ads, okay? So that's what we want to start with. So we're going to click search. Okay, the next part of setting it up is telling Google how we want to reach our goals, okay? So when somebody clicks on your ad, they see the search ad, they're going to click on it and they're either going to go to a page on your website or a different specific landing page. And we'll get more into landing pages and websites and which ones are better as we get further along. But we do want to track website visits. So here you'd put in your URL. You'd put in metalogicdesign.com. We do want phone calls, okay? These things we're all going to be changing later, so don't get too worried about these. So make sure you pick the right country, and you can put your phone number in here if you want. But I am going to give you guys some tools on how to track phone calls way more effectively than what we're doing here, okay? Next, start tracking your leads as website conversions. These things we're going to do as we get further along into it. And then the next part we're going to do is name our campaign. So we'll call this campaign number 1. Hit continue. Don't click on any of these things that Google does. We're going to do everything manually. It's better. Just trust me. Exit the guide, leave it. Okay, so now we've made it to the bidding part. Okay, so what do we want to focus on? Let me give you a bit of advice. Whenever you see something recommended by Google, I want you to really think hard about it. Okay, Google's job is to get you to get as many clicks and spend as much money as possible. In the real world, you don't care too much about clicks. You really want the phones to ring and you want people who are interested in your business. So we can't do conversions at this point or conversion value because we don't have any yet. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is just set it up for clicks. Set a maximum cost per click bid limit. We're just going to put something small in here right now, and I'll show you why as we go. But we're just trying to get the whole account and campaign set up so we can go in and fine tune it as we go. Okay, so let's just put in $3. Click next. All right, so we made it to campaign settings. This is going to be really, really important, and it's broken down into a bunch of different sections. So we're going to go slow, and I'm going to take you through each step. Let's get started on the very first part. So this is the networks that you want your ads to be shown. Okay? So you have the search network, which is the main part of the search engine results page that we went over earlier. That's where we want to be. Now, Google already checks for you display network. It says it's an easy way to get additional conversions at similar or lower cost than search with unused budget. Okay, so Google's saying, hey, if you're not using all your money, we can use your money by throwing up some visual ads to people who may not be in the market. We don't want that. Stay away from the display network. Just do it. So we're going to unclick that. Next, Google is going to say we should show the ads on the search partner sites as well. Okay, hover over here. It says to help you get a similar cost per conversion as you get on the search network, some clicks on the search partner network may cost more or less than your Google Search Max CPC bid. These ads are going to be shown on all these hundreds of thousands, if not millions of other websites out there, just trying to get you more exposure. In our experience, this network doesn't do anything. It doesn't generate leads. All it does is get you some more exposure, and the clicks are way less, but it doesn't generate any more leads. Okay, we don't want to waste any money. Okay, we are a small local service business, and our budget's tight, and we're not going to waste it. So unclick it, and I'll show you as we get in that Google's going to keep on telling you, hey, make sure you do this. Make sure you do this. Just dismiss it every single time. We'll show you how to do that. Okay. Okay, now we've made it to the locations part. So we are a local service business. Let's say we are a med spa, and we only service, people usually only come from about 10 miles or so from our location, or we just really want to target very specific geographic territories. This is where we're going to set that. Okay, so let's enter in a location. So here you're going to hover right here and put on enter location. Now, if you're in a smaller town, you can put the name of the town. You could put zip codes. You could even do a radius. So let's say, for example, we are in a med spa and we are in Chicago. Chicago's enormous. So we only want to target, let's say one zip code. So let's do Lincoln Park 60614. And they're going to show me all the different options. And I can say, let's target that. Let's say I want to do all of Chicago. You can do Chicago, Illinois, all these different ones. Boom. So now you have your target. Now right here, you want to hover down and do location options, okay? So typically where you start is the target, so presence or interest, people in regularly in or who have shown interest in your targeted locations. Okay, so showing people who are interested in the med spa in these areas. And then for exclude, we typically start here as well. It says people in your excluded locations. We don't have any yet. Okay, but let's say there's some areas of Chicago that we just don't want to target. Let's say 60617. Let's say I want to exclude that. Okay, so now it's saying, hey, show my ads to people here who are interested in our services in this area, but do not show my ads to these people, okay? And that's what we're telling Google. But let's say I wanted to do Naperville, Illinois. Okay, so if I click nearby, then it'll give me all these different areas of where that are broken down by Naperville. So you can choose all of those as well. And we're going to have more options for the locations when we get into the campaign, but right now we're just trying to set up the bones, the foundation of the campaign. Okay, so we're just going to kind of zip through this, and we can always make changes as we go. Okay, so the next section, languages. Typically people are going to put English, Spanish. It all depends on the people you're targeting and what kind of business you have. Audience segments, we're not going to worry about this on the setup. Okay, we'll do that when we get in. I'll show you. So then we're going to click more settings. Ad rotation. This one is set by default. You want to allow Google to optimize those, and we'll show you all the 15 different headlines you can have. But you typically stay with letting Google optimize those. Start and end dates, if you're going to schedule it and you want to only try it for a month or so, you can always make an end date if you want. Ad schedule, we'll get into that as we talk about optimization. And then campaign URL options. This is part of conversion tracking, and I'll show you how we use this once we get in, okay? And that is about it. So now that we have the campaign set up and the campaign settings, we're just going to hit next. Hey everybody. In this lesson, we're going to talk about keywords, and specifically the keyword match types that are available in the Google Ads campaigns. So there's 3 different kinds. There's an exact match, there's a phrase match, and then there's a broad match. So I'm going to walk you through what each one of those is and what types of search results those will trigger. So this is really, really important, because if you don't set the right match type, you can really blow through a budget really quickly. So let's dive in.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. We are going to go through all of the different kinds of keyword match types that Google Ads has to offer. So I created this diagram, and on the left column, you'll see search terms. We have roofing companies, accountants near me, and pool service. And then we have the different types of keyword match types. So you have broad match, phrase match, and exact match. Okay? So let's erase this, and let's start with broad match. So broad match is right here, and that is when you're telling Google, hey, I want my ad to show for these keywords and anything that could possibly be related to these keywords. This is a really big mistake to start a campaign. Never start a campaign with broad match. Okay, it's a big no-no. So right here you see the broad match for roofing companies. This can get any type of search related to roofing companies. So if you look here, it could be roofing equipment, roofing supplies. It doesn't even have to have the word companies or roofing in it. It could be how to fix a leaky roof, or how do roofing companies make money. So these search terms are very irrelevant, and we don't want them. So if we go to the next one, accountants near me, you could see searches for, are accountants smart? What type of classes do accountants take? Or not even anything with near me or accountants, bookkeeping software for free. So it's anything that could be related to accountants. And then the next example would be pool service. So it could be pool supplies at Target. could be pool pump parts, or it could be pool building companies. So they're very, very broad. Again, don't ever start a campaign with this. Now, the next one is phrase match. And to tell Google that you want it to be a phrase match, you would just do parentheses. So there, and then you'd put in keyword, parentheses, okay? So for roofing companies, what you're telling Google is, hey, I like the words roofing companies in that order together, but there might be some keywords before it, or there might be some keywords after it. So an example of some of the search results you would see is roofing companies near me. You would see roofing companies in a town, Austin, Texas. You could see before roofing companies, you have, are roofing companies profitable? Again, not very relevant. And then you'll see roofing companies, but before it you have business plan for roofing companies. So we do start a lot of our campaigns with phrase match, but before we even start a campaign, that's where we do our keyword research, and we try to go through and be as smart as we can and find all the negatives that we can before we launch that, okay? Let's give you a couple more examples. You have accountants near me. So you could get the exact search, which would be awesome. You could get the word cheap accountants near me, or you could get accountants near me who work for free. Okay, so you got to really, really, really keep an eye on some of these search terms. And that's why in the next video, we're going to talk about how important negative keywords are. It's probably even more important than the keyword you're bidding on. And then the next example we'll do is pool service. So again, we're telling Google that I want these two keywords, pool and service, to be next to each other in that order, but things can come before or after it. So pool service company marketing, like that wouldn't be good for a service company. Pool service near me, that's a good one. Is starting a pool service a good idea? Okay, so some of these things, they're just, they're not good searches. So that's why you want to do your homework before you do any of this. Okay, now the next one, which after you've gone into once you've been managing a campaign for a while, this is when you get into exact match. And I put these brackets around there because that's what you need to put around the keyword to tell Google you want an exact match. So it needs to be bracket, keyword, bracket. And then you're telling Google, I want only searches that are exactly that. Okay, so then this example is roofing companies. If you made that an exact match, you would hypothetically only be showing for these results. Same with accountants near me, and then pool service. Okay, it's not 100% accurate. Okay, Google does sometimes show other keywords even in an exact match. Okay, so you want to just really keep an eye on these campaigns, especially when you start. So if I'm going to erase this, that gives you an idea of all the different types of keywords, match types. Now let's say we've gone through this, and I am going to use blue. After you see these things, like for example, I want to show you how you spot negatives. So if you put roofing companies as a broad match, and then you go into Google Ads and you look at the search terms that are prompting it, and you see equipment, that's a negative. Supplies, negative. Let me move that a little bit. Leaky roof might be okay, but fix is maybe a negative, but if we have enough data, then you can make that a negative. I am creating a guide on negative keywords because a lot of our research has shown that the words how to or how do, they do not perform well. Okay, so you have to keep an eye on it, and I will be teaching you how to analyze the data in other courses. Let's let's go through accountants near me. Smart, that might be a negative because that doesn't sound transactional. What type of classes do accountants take? Classes are negative. Software and free. And then you have to think, free, what else is free? Or what other keywords are associated with free? Cheap, free, affordable, inexpensive. So you got to start thinking of key negatives for that. Let's do pool service. If I look at these and I say, hey, Target's a negative, pool pump parts, and pool building. If I'm a pool service company, I just do maintenance. Building would be a negative. Okay? So that's how you would go through and do it for broad match. Phrase match is where you want to start. Okay? So start with phrase match. My handwriting is horrible, but that's okay. I'm a dude. Roofing companies. So this is where phrase match makes it really easy because you can look at these and say, hey, Austin, Texas, I'm in Dallas. That's not even a good one. Profitable would be one. Plan would be one. Okay? So at least with the phrase match, you're seeing your two keywords next to each other. Accountants near me, that's good. Cheap, again, is no good. Free is no good. And then pool service, we have marketing would be no good. Starting would probably be a negative. Idea would be a negative. So that is how you want to think about your keywords. Again, phrase match, always broad. Never, ever start with broad. So never start a campaign with broad match. Start here. Right here, phrase match. Okay? And then as we get into optimization, again, I'll show you some other, some cool tricks. But that is the gist of Google Ads keyword match types. So let's go on to negative keyword match types now.
Welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to go through the different types of keywords that we want to focus on. Okay, so it's not the keyword match types. It's more, what is the customer's intent when they are doing a search on Google? So it's really important to distinguish the difference between these. So I'm going to explain those as we go through the worksheet. So let's get started. All right, everybody. In this lesson, we are going to talk about customer intent. Okay, so this is really, really important when you're setting up your campaign and trying to figure out which keywords you want to focus on. And then this is also going to help with your negative keywords as you start optimizing the campaign. This is a funnel, and it takes you through all the different intents that people are putting into the search engine. So at the very top, you're going to see informational. Okay, so we took these definitions and these customer intents through SEMRush because I agree with them and I think it works really well, and my data is consistent with this. So at the very top you have informational, and the user wants to find an answer to a specific question. Okay, so a lot of examples we will see are the who, what, where, when, why, and how. Okay, so why is such and such? What is the best time to plant flowers? How to? That's a lot of do-it-yourselfers, and a lot of the times we don't want that since we're a local service company. The question, an example would be, does my tree need to be trimmed? So they're not looking for service, they're just trying to get information. Where can I find the best pool supplies? When is the best time to open a pool? So a lot of these things aren't going to turn into leads, okay? On occasion they do, but the cost per lead by leaving these types of keywords in your campaign, it's not worth it. Like for example, you will see sometimes, where is the best place to get my taxes done? And then your ad will pop up and then you might get a lead that way. But I would rather focus the budget on keywords that we know have a higher probability of turning into leads. So informational, we want to kind of stay away from that. Navigational, the next one in red, the user wants to find a specific page, site, or physical location. And what we see a lot of the times are people looking for customer service numbers. What is the number for my local energy company or my local utility company? And then you'll see Amazon in there a lot, my Amazon account. People are looking for specific portals or login locations online. You'll see a lot of account services, those types of things. Navigational are people that are trying to find something that they already know exists and they know where they want to go. Okay, so those are ones that you usually want to stay away from as well. Now, the bottom of the funnel is where we're going to find our sweet spot. All right, and the next one you're going to see is commercial. The user wants to investigate brands or services. Now, when it comes to brands, you usually want to stay away from those as well. You can bid on your own brand, and there's a tactic for that we can talk about in another course. But what we really want to focus on here are the services. So you'll see accounting services, plumbing services, electrical services, HVAC services, and then in a city. You're also going to start seeing like top 100 accounting firms in the United States. So things like that, when you see top 100 or United States, those are things we're going to want to filter out. But we want to keep services in there for sure. And then at the bottom, that is where the bread and butter of our accounts, of our conversions are going to come from. Okay, transactional. The user wants to complete an action. Okay, so this is where you're going to see tied to the search terms near me, in my area, my city, my town. Okay, so they're very specific. They're looking for a service near me, a provider, a specialist, a builder, whatever it is, in my area, near me, or and then they may put in your specific town or even a county. That's what we want to focus on. So these are the different types of intents that people are putting in when they're searching. And we want to stay towards the bottom of the funnel. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Hey everybody, welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about negative keywords. Okay, so negative keywords are equally or even more so important than the keywords that you're bidding on. So when you put in negative keywords, what you're doing is telling Google, hey, if anybody puts these words or search terms into the search bar, I do not want my ad to show. Okay, so this is how you weed out a lot of irrelevant and not qualified traffic. I'm going to take you through the different match types. Just like keywords, there's 3 different match types and they mean different things. So it's really important that you know the difference. So let's get started.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is a very, very important lesson, and we're going to be going over negative keywords. As I've mentioned before, negative keywords are probably more important than the actual keywords that you're bidding on. Okay? So just like keywords having 3 different match types, negatives have the same match types. And we're going to go through a bunch of different examples so you have a better understanding of these. Okay? So we're going to start with broad match, and it's just like the keyword broad match. It has no punctuation or any parameters around it. It's just roofing supplies. The next one is the phrase match. Same thing. You have the little quotations. And then you have the negative match, which is the little brackets. Okay? So that's how you tell Google what kind of a negative keyword match you want. Okay, so let's start and let's pretend we are a roofing service company. Okay? And we're going through our search terms and we see somebody put in roofing supplies. And we say, hey, I don't want roofing supplies in there. So let's make roofing supplies a broad negative keyword. So it's important to see, to understand how Google looks at these. So if you look here, I wrote it out. Searches that contain all the terms you've selected, so all is super important, regardless of the order. Okay, so what you're telling Google in this one is, If it has the word roofing and has the word supplies, I don't want to show. Okay, so you're not going to show up for roofing supplies near me. You're not going to show up for companies that sell roofing supplies. You're not going to show up for supplies for printing roofing business cards because you have supplies in here and you have roofing. Okay, so all three of these have both of those keywords in it. Now, in the next column right here, you're going to see that you can show up for these, though. Okay, so roofing supplies near me. So if you see what I did there, and you're going to notice this, there are a lot of people out there that they're not very good at spelling. I can't spell very well either. So if somebody puts in a misspelling, you still show up. Okay. The next one would be roofing supply. So instead of putting supplies, they put the word supply in there. So you're still going to show. Supplies for roofers. So instead of roofing, they put roofers in there. And then the next one is a list of supplies for landscapers. Okay, so you still are showing up for irrelevant terms that have the word supplies in there. Okay, so we want to be really careful. And when you see something like this, when you're putting in supplies, make sure you put in all the different kinds of variations of that, okay? So it could be supply, it could be S-U-P-L-Y, to get all the misspellings in there, singular, plural, you want to get all the variations in there, okay? I would say right off the bat, this is not a good negative keyword because roofing, you want to keep that in there. Like you don't want to have the term roofing as a broad match negative. So usually broad match, you have to be really certain if you're going to use two different words. Usually the best way to go is with singular. And I'll show you as we go. I'll give you some more examples, okay? So let's go into the negative phrase match. So what Google says is you won't show if the search contains the exact keyword terms in the same order. Okay, so if you do a phrase match with the parentheses in the negative keywords, you're saying, hey, Google, if you see the words roofing supplies next to each other, I don't want it. So you're not going to show up for roofing supplies near me. You're not going to show up for roofing. Where can I buy roofing supplies? You're not going to show up for list of roofing supplies every roofer needs. Okay. Now, what you still are going to show for is, again, the singular version, roofing supply stores, Austin, Texas. Supplies for, instead of roofing, they put roofers. And then the next one is list of supplies for landscapers because it still has supplies in there. And you're telling Google it has to have both of these in this order right here. Okay. So that's how the phrase match will work. Now, if we go down to the exact match, you're going to see your ad won't show if the search contains the exact keyword terms in the same order without extra words. Okay, so that's important. So if you don't want to show up for roofing supplies, you're not going to, if somebody just puts in roofing supplies, you will not show. But that's really not going to help you because you're still going to show up for roofing supplies near me. You're still going to show for roofing supply stores. You're still going to show for supplies for roofers, all these different ones. Okay, so let's go down and let's give you some examples on maybe some of the better way to do it. So again, we're going to go down. We're in this column now. Let me erase that. Okay, so now this time we're going to say, instead of doing roofing supplies, we're just going to put in supplies. So anything that has the word supplies, I don't want to show for. So you're not going to show up for any of these. But again, you're going to still show up for supply. So you want singular, plural versions, misspellings, those are all the different types of negatives that you're going to want to put in there. Okay? We go down to phrase match. If we did supply store, you're not going to show up for roofing supply store, contractor supply store, anything with supply store you're not going to show up for. But again, your ad could show for roofing supply stores. So that's the plural version. You got to get that one out of there. Supplies for roofers, you're still going to show because that's the plural version here. And then list of supplies for landscapers, you're still going to show up for it. But you're not going to show up for it over here if you have supplies in broad match. Now, moving down to exact match, same thing, supply store. You're not going to show up for supply store. You're going to show up for all these other ones because you can still have something before or after it. Okay?
Welcome back, everybody. In this section, we are going to be talking about keyword planning. So what is a good campaign if you're not targeting the right keywords? We're going to show you some of the tools that we use that are completely free. And we're also going to take you through one that is a paid subscription, but it's very robust and it has a lot of great data. So let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I want to take you through one of the free tools that Google offers for keyword research. Okay, so in order to do that, we can go up to Tools and Settings and go to Keyword Planner. So here you can see, you discover new keywords, or if you want to do some research and see what kind of traffic or volume you can get from keywords, these are the two options. We're not going to get into the organizing the keywords into ad groups because after doing all the campaign structure and organizing your campaigns, we already have a good idea of which keywords we're putting in what ad group. So let's do discover new keywords first. So first you can just put in whatever service you offer. Let's start with pool builders. So you have pool builders. And you can click on get results. Make myself a little smaller. And here, you can add more keywords to check it out, but they're going to give you some ideas. So you have pool companies near me, average monthly searches. They give you some trends, year over year change. But if you want to say, hey, which one gets the most searches, you can filter it by here. Obviously, pool, I'm making this video in February, so there's definitely more searches right now for pools than over 3 months ago because people are getting ready for pool season. If you want to see more options, you can click that. And if you want to see pool construction company, you can add all these different keywords here and they'll show you. Okay, so if I like pool builders near me, pool contractors, pool installers, we can do that. And we can save them or we can add them right to our campaign if we want. If you see any keywords that you don't like, they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. You can add it as a negative keywords, okay? So this just gives you some ideas of maybe some variations of keywords that you didn't think about before. Okay, so let's go back. So we just did discover keywords. Let's do start with a website. So let me put mine in. I'm going to do my business one. So if I put mine in, you can search, they're going to scan my whole site, or if there's a specific page. So let's say you are a builder and you do custom kitchens. You can put on that page that has the extension of the URL custom kitchens, and it'll give you ideas for that specific service. I'm just going to do the entire site just to show you how it works. And here are all the different keywords that they're giving me. Okay, so if I'm going down, I'm like, man, I don't love the word affordable. Like, I don't want people to think I'm cheap or affordable, so I'm saying, hey, I can make that a negative keyword. Or if there's one that I didn't think about, you can add the keyword and create a plan. So here you'll have your keyword, you'll have a keyword planner where you can view all of your keywords. So there it is. Full disclosure here too, whatever tool you use, none of it's going to be 100% accurate. We're not going to know fully which keywords are the best ones until we really get into the campaign. When you're in the mix, in the campaign, and you're optimizing, you're fighting for those positions, that's when you're really going to see which keywords are performing the best. So the other one is if you're trying to get some ideas maybe for some future campaigns, you can always go to Get Search Volume and Forecasts. And here you can put in your keywords. I'll do HVAC service near me, just to get us started. And from here, you can change your location. So you could say, hey, I wonder what that's like in New York. Let's see, does New York need a lot of HVAC? They'll show you the average monthly searches. Up here, this is where you can name your plan if you want to keep some of these. If you want to add more keywords, you could say, what about plumbers near me? Or electricians. Electricians near me, or you could even do locksmiths near me. They'll show you how many of these searches are happening in the New York area. Now, one other thing that I haven't mentioned yet, so you can always set these columns. Columns, I'm going to get into optimizing columns and setting up the right columns when we get into optimizing the campaign a little bit. But right here, you can go to columns, and here you can add any other metrics that you'd like. Now, the big thing for me is always going to be top of page bid. I like this. We definitely don't need, so if I want to edit it, I don't need account status. I could take, the biggest one for me is going to be searches. I like competition. You can just click and drag. I like top of page, low range, and then top of page, high range. So we can just apply that. And so now we have this. For these types of services, they're showing that competition is medium. If you want to get on the top 2 or 3 or 4 positions, you're going to be somewhere around this area. If you want to be at the top of the page, like absolute first position, more often, you're going to be paying a lot. So you see in New York, for these types of services, Google's telling you that the cost per click is a lot, $44. Again, that's not 100% accurate until you get into the mix. But let's just take a look. Let's say I'm not in New York. Let's say I'm in Florida. And I want to target Florida. So I want to do Florida, take out New York, hit save. Whew. It's even more expensive over there, electricians and HVAC. And you can see the 3-month change in Florida because it's going to start getting warmer. So it's just giving you a little bit of an idea of how much these clicks are. But I'll tell you, near me is always very expensive. So if I said electricians, or let's say electrician company, electrician service. Electrician service, you're in 6 to 37. Near me, you're in 10 to 50. So they're still high, but near me is the highest one because those are people who are like ready to go. So just play around with this tool, but don't get too caught up on the bids. This tool is really just here to give you some ideas. Think about where you might want to start your bid, but always remember you can always go up, okay? You can always start low, and as soon as you get in there, Google's going to say, hey, you're below the first page bid, but you can always go up. So you don't want to start too high sometimes. So this is a good tool. Not the best, but it's free, completely free. So if you want to start with this one, it's a good choice. I'm going to go and I'm going to show you some of the tools that we use. They're not free, but they're very detailed, more accurate, and they give you a lot more competitive information. So I will see you in the next one. Hey everybody, we're still in the keyword planning section, so I'm going to give you another place where you can find keywords. As a local service business, I am going to assume and or strongly encourage you to have a Google business profile set up and operating really well. If you don't, that should be your top priority before you even run the ads, because if you don't have the reviews, the location extension is not going to be as effective, and the campaign's just going to get off to a way slower start. So I'm going to assume that you have a Google business profile set up, formerly Google My Business. And what Google My Business is, in case those of you who don't know, I'm just going to do my tree service near me. Okay. So this is the SERP. Right here, they're going to show me my Google local service ads. They're going to show me the Google search ads, which is where we are learning to perfect. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, there, right here, is Google Business Profile, or Google My Business. This is right here, it's what's referred to as the local pack. And then as you scroll down, you'll see organic listings, and then at the bottom, there's another ad. Okay? But this is where we're going to find some more keywords. So this is your Google My Business. Okay. So when you log in to your Google My Business account, you're going to see a dashboard like this. And here you're going to find performance. Okay. Now when you go to overview and you scroll down, right here in the bottom right corner, they're going to show you searches that people typed in to find or to show your listing. This is a good place to see some more keyword options, and it's completely free. Okay, while we're on the topic of keywords, here's another free tool. So in the beginning of this course, I showed you how to set up Google Analytics. Unfortunately, we no longer get keyword data from Google Analytics, but I also showed you how to set up Google Search Console. Now, if you have had Google Search Console running, you can log in, just like I have here, and if you click on Performance, click down here, I'm just going to show some more. So you're going to see all these keywords that people have searched for to get to these websites. You can sort it by clicks, or you can sort it by impressions, and you can see how many of these searches that people typed into Google to get to your site. Okay? Once we start getting into some other types of training courses, but we can talk about SEO, but you can even click on your average position, and you can see how you rank for all these keywords. This is a customer of ours who ranks very well for a lot of keywords. They're in the top for most of these. Okay? But this is going to give you a good idea of keywords that people are using right now to get to your site. So we have keywords from Google Keyword Planner in Google Ads. We have keywords from Google Business Profile, and we have keywords from Google Search Console. So those three right there are going to give you most of the keywords that you need. So I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey everybody, welcome back. Okay, so I know that I promised I was going to show you another way to do some really good keyword research. So that is what this video is all about. The tool that we use is SEMRush. Okay, now if you're a small business owner or you manage the Google Ads campaign for one company, I would say you may want to skip this. Although we do have a free 14-day trial. If you click on the link, you can test it out for 14 days, do some keyword research, and then cancel it. So can't hurt. But I want to say if you are a digital marketer and you handle more than one campaign, maybe 3 or 4 or 5, this is a really good option, especially as you want to get into maybe doing some more than just keyword research. If you want to start tracking some search engine optimization, rankings, keyword rankings, you can really do a good job spying on competitors using this software. So let's take you through it, and hopefully you'll get some really good tips. Okay, here we are in the account. Now, what's going to be really important for you is going to be the Keyword Magic tool. Okay, so in the Keyword Magic tool, right here, you can type in the service that you are researching. Let's say we are an accountant. So accountant, and I always love near me. So let's see. And you can change it based on your location, but we're in the United States, so. So right here, we're in broad match. And it's going to show you all the different types of keywords that fit your search term. So you can sort by volume, and that will show you the highest searched keywords throughout a 12-month period. We're not going to really focus too much on the keyword difficulty. I'm just kind of showing you how the Keyword Magic tool works. So what makes this tool really powerful is this column right here, which is intent. Okay, so what it's telling you is what the customer's or the searcher's intent is when they put in a keyword like this. And one of the different categories they have is transactional. So the user wants to complete an action. So near me is very transactional. Anyone who's searching for near me is looking for a service or a product. Okay, so this is what we want to go after, especially with Google Ads. Okay, so let's see what happens if we change this keyword. What if we do accounting services? Now we're going to get a range, okay, but it's sorted out by volume. So the first one is account services. That is not really relevant, okay? It's categorized as navigational. They want to find a specific page or a site, maybe for their account. Accounting services, here we are. So here we have just accounting services. It's commercial. The user wants to investigate brands or services. These are people who are trying to get some more information. So it's a commercial intent. Again, we're at account, Xfinity, accounting service, same thing. Now here we go. Accounting services near me, transactional. The customer wants to complete an action or a conversion. This is, again, what we want to go after. So I'm going to go back. I just want to show you the differences in putting in near me versus just a broad accounting services. So if I go back to accountant near me, here are all of the variations. So you have accountant, accountants, tax accountant, accounting jobs. That's something that you may want to make a negative keyword. Tax accountants near me. So there's plural, singular, and there's all these different variations. So you will get a lot of different ideas here. Now, let's say you want to explore a little bit more. You can go into related. So this will give you some more ideas on some keywords that you can bid on for your ads, or it also will give you some ideas on negative keywords, which is equally as important. Let's go back to broad match. Okay, now if I click on accountant near me, so when you click on the keyword, it's going to give you a much more detailed analysis of this keyword. okay? So again, here's some variations, but here are some questions that people ask, okay? So you'll see a lot of these questions, if you click on the questions, a lot of these are really good for SEO, blogging, things like that, okay? So these are the top questions that people are asking. This is a really good tool for your landing page. So we always recommend having some FAQs at the bottom, some frequently asked questions. So if you can find what questions people are asking the most, those are the ones you want to have at the bottom of your page and have a nice detailed answer for it. And then if you want to take it a step further, turn all these things into blogs, because this is what people are searching for. All right. So I hope that you found this helpful. Highly recommend SEMRush for helping you plan out your campaigns and finding the right keywords and giving you some ideas for negative keywords as well. So let's move on to the next part of the course. Okay, so we made it to the keywords and ads section of the campaign setup. So in our campaign, it's going to be made up of all these different types of ad groups based on the services that you're promoting. So here, remember when I put in my URL in the beginning, Google used that to come up with all these different keywords that I could market my company for. Let's pretend that I'm going to do that for myself, and we'll call this digital marketing, okay? So I'm going to go through here and I want just the keywords that have digital in there, okay? Don't really focus on creative too much. We're not just marketing. So you're going to go through and you're going to organize it. And we want these to be real tight lists, okay? Let's just do this for the sake of time. So digital marketing, service. I love near me. Remember, near me is like one of the best keywords for local service companies. That means people have already done the research and they're looking to buy. So we go to digital marketing agency and then the town. So we're in, let's see, we were going to do Chicago, right? We could do Chicago. If you're in Naperville, you could do digital agencies, Naperville, Illinois, whatever your town is. So near me and towns are really, really effective. Okay? Don't worry about the caps. It doesn't matter. Google doesn't care about those. So those are the keywords that we're going to focus on. If you are a dentist, let's say you do pediatric dentistry. So you're going to want to put one of your ad groups, pediatric dentistry. Get specific with it. Pediatric cleaning, pediatric fillings, all those different types. You want different ad groups. If you are a med spa, you want one for laser hair removal, one for laser skin resurfacing, tree service. You want one for tree trimming, tree removal, landscape, hardscape, pool. If you just want to make sure that these are all broken down, okay, into very tight groups. So these are some of the ideas that Google's going to give you. There are the other tools that we went over. So these are free. The other ones, you can have a free trial. They may cost a little bit of money, but it's super, super important to get the right keywords. But you're going to start seeing different trends. And when we start optimizing campaigns, you go through those different strategies and those courses, then you'll be able to make a lot of switches. So again, back to the bones and foundation, we're just going to use those. Well, congratulations on finishing the keyword planning section. We showed you some of the free ones, the Google Planning Tool, Google Business Profile, and Google Search Console. And then we also showed you the tool that we use that a lot of the pros use, which it is a paid subscription, but man, it has some really good data with SEMRush. So let's go on to the next section. All right, welcome back. In this section, we're going to get back into the campaign that we already started, and we're going to create our first ad. And then we're also going to go through all the assets that used to be called extensions that go along with each ad. And then we're going to take you through how to adjust your location settings and your bidding settings to start your first campaign. So let's dive in. Okay, we did some keyword research. We put some of those in our ad group. And now each ad group is going to have one ad. Okay. Back in the day, you could have 3 different ads running with 3 different headlines. You can still have different ads running now, but Google has these responsive ads where you're going to enter in 15 different headlines. 15. Okay? So the first part is going to be the URL. So I'm getting a notice here because you always want to have your protocol before it. So HTTPS, semicolon, //. So now we're in. So that's going to take us to our home page. The keywords that we were bidding on, or that we're going to be bidding on, are right here. Okay, so digital service, digital marketing, digital agencies, so on and so forth. So this is the path that you can put in your keywords, and you're going to see a preview right here as you enter those in. So if I did digital marketing, you get 15 characters, okay? Digital agency, Chicago. So you're going to have to play around with yours, okay? So make sure you have a keyword in there. I like having a keyword and a location in mind, and you can see that the ad is going to show my URL, digital agency, Chicago, okay? This is where you need to be a little technical and you need to be a little creative. And Google's going to go on and show you your ad strength according to them, okay? So do your best. We want to get excellent if we can. But sometimes I've run campaigns where I just couldn't find the right keywords or headlines in there to get to excellent, and they perform great. And Google will rate them as average or above average, okay? So don't get too hung up on this. We can always make changes down the road when we start getting data, and then we can start adding different keywords and different headlines to the campaign, okay? But one thing you're always going to want to do, you're always going to want to put your company name. Metalogic Design, okay? Check out our reviews is super lame, so get that out of there. So the keywords we like, and Google's going to give you ideas. So we like digital marketing agency. We like award-winning. I like having what we do. Like marketing is so generic, but I want like digital in there because we do digital. But that's too many. So we can say things like, here's some things that you can add in there. Top rated. Some other ones would be most trusted if you have a lot of reviews. Digital marketing. The one we want to have the one with our location. So we'll do copy that, paste digital marketing Chicago. So these are kind of like the generic ones that you want to have in there. I'll tell you, here's a tip. Google loves having your website URL in the ad, and they'll show it all the time. They like it. So put it in there. I've done it with and without. It works. Metalogicdesign.com. Even if you're taking them to a landing page that is different, still put this one in there. Let's just start putting stuff in there. We have pay-per-click services. I don't really want that. We can do award-winning. We just want to have a bunch of variations in here, okay? Award-winning digital agency. So Google doesn't like having multiple headlines of the same thing in there. So we're going to want to switch them up. So we can say Chicago's #1 digital agency. Okay. Chicago digital marketing. Put my name back in there, MetaLogic Digital Marketing. We like having terms, and this is going to be in the notes on this course, but we do like having terms like top rated, most trusted. We've also done ones where it kind of pops a little bit, where you have like recommended with a parenthesis. Recommended MetaLogic design. Okay? But Google loves having the keywords that you're bidding on in the headline, but those headlines really kind of suck. So if you did like digital marketing near me, I'm not going to work. But you want to make sure all the first letters of your headlines are capitalized. So you see when I put that keyword in there, it went up to average. If I do one for digital agencies Naperville, and then you can do, so now I'm good. Request a free plan, marketing plan. Can't do, now I have excellent, bumped up. Okay, so you can't do all caps. So if I were to do all caps, they're going to say you can't do that. When you hit submit, they'll say you can't put all caps in there. There's certain punctuation you can't do either. Also, trademark. There might be a service if you, let's say you are a provider of a certain material. You have to either get permissions from the manufacturer or you have to appeal that. So you may not be able to use all the different words that you want in there. But those are the 15. And Google is going to rotate these around to see if they can get the best click-through rate. I'll show you what that is as we go, and to get the best results for you. But you can always go back and change these. So don't worry, don't get too hung up on the headlines if you don't love them. Okay, we did the headlines. The next part of the headline, or the ad, is going to be the description. And the description is going to show up right down here. So you can have 4 different descriptions. Here's some of them that Google already generated for you. These are not nearly as important as the headlines or even the landing page. So do your best here. You have 90 characters. Google will give you options. You can always change it. This is where people also will put a little bit more descriptive things about their services. Again, Google will rotate these around in combination with your 15 headlines. Okay, so that's where these are going to end up. That's the main part of the ads. So the next part we're going to get into is creating all the different assets. All right, our headlines are in, our descriptions are done. Now we want to add some size and some things that make our ads pop. So we're going to get into the assets. They used to be called extensions. Now they're called assets. We're just going to hop right into the site links, okay? So this is super important right here. We have campaign level site links. So if you want to have site links that are going to be applied to all of your ad groups and ads, then this is where you're going to make those. So let's do, since I'm going to do it for digital marketing, let's say I want to have, I want to go over some of the services or the benefits that we want to promote. Okay, so digital marketing has a lot of different things that we do. Let's say I want to do one for PPC lead generation. Okay, so now you can see, and here's the preview. Here's the desktop. We're not doing YouTube ads, so I don't know why they're showing us that. But you'll see how they'll look on desktop, and we'll see how they look on mobile. So underneath each one of these site links, you want to do a description. So we could say, specialize in local service campaign, local service ads. Award-winning team. And then you're going to put your URL. And let's say I don't want to take them to my homepage because if somebody sees my ad and sees, oh, they do PPC, which is pay-per-click, I want to take them to that specific page. So I'll do PPC services. Whatever the link is, that's where you want to go. Okay? Let's say I'm a cosmetic dentist and we do veneers, like beautiful veneers. And then you can say, we can help perfect your smile. And let's say there's different kind, porcelain, whatever other types, yada, yada, yada. And then we'll take them to the veneers page. If we're a tree service, let's say people are looking for a tree service in Naperville. We would want to show, hey, we do tree removals. And then best equipment, whatever you want to put there to describe it, okay? And then put them to the removals page. Let's say we are the med spa again, and we do laser hair removal. And we also want to show them, hey, we also do laser hair removal, we do skin resurfacing, whatever it is. You want to throw all your different types of services out there. The other approach would be, if you have your campaigns really dialed in, this is where we would put some differentiators. So over 20 years experience. We could say certified arborist. That's a differentiator. We could say board certified MD, whatever it is. So those are some differentiators. How long have you been in business? Have you won any awards? When Google sometimes they'll try to auto-generate some of these for you, and they want to put like contact us, just super generic things that don't make your ads pop at all. And we don't want those. We want to show things that get people excited. So if I do this, let's say I go to, because they're going to, if it's an invalid URL, it will not go. So I'm going to go through these, and then I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on if you have a landing page and you want to take them all to the same page, you can do that as well. Okay, so for this one, let's just say I want to take them to the home page. All you have to do is add the hashtag to the end, and you're there. Certified. This is dummy text. This is where you'd put a descriptor. I can do this. Let's just put this here just for the sake of it. Certified. I changed it. You cannot have the same URL as in the site links. They all have to be a little bit different, even if you take them to the same page, okay? So the next one, we'll do certified, and you can put, nobody's going to see these URLs, by the way, so you can put whatever you want. We'll do board. Over 20 years, and then award-winning, whatever you want to put. Follow our instructions in the notes, and we'll give you some of the tips are going to be in there, but I'm just trying to get through these so Google says, okay, we're good. Site link options, we're going to get through that when we go to the conversion tracking. So click Save. And here they are. These are campaign level. Okay, so I can apply these now to the campaign, all the ads on my campaign. So if I hit Apply, they'll show them there. So those are how you do site links. All right, site links are done. The next one that Google's going to give us are the callouts. Okay, callouts. So these are going to be more descriptors that differentiate your company than anything. This is where you'd want to put if you have a 24-hour emergency service. This is where, again, you could put 20 years experience. whatever it is. If you are a pool company, you could say you specialize in gunite pool. This is where you could say you're certified at whatever it is. Certified esthetician. I don't remember how to spell that. Certified or board certified if you're a doctor, dentist. If you're a lawyer, this is where you could say like don't pay unless we win. If you're a personal injury attorney. Or if let's say you are in the finance industry, this is where you could say like no money down, or you could say lowest interest rates, things like that. And this is where they're going to pop up. So you can see headline, your description, and now see what we're doing is we're trying to give ourselves more real estate. So the more extensions we have, the bigger our ad is, the more it pops, the more attention you get, the more clicks you get. Okay, so we're going to save that. These are campaign level callouts again. Okay, when we get into the campaign, we can do ad group level callouts, but we're just going to set this up because we're at the campaign, and those are the callouts. Okay, moving along. Let's get into the structured snippets. Okay, structured snippets. There's different categories that they're going to show here as a preview. This is where a lot of our clients, since it's a local service company, they'll do their service catalog. Okay, and it just shows all the different types of services that you offer. So if you're a landscaper, you do landscape maintenance. Let's say you also do some hardscaping as well. Let's say we do brick and patio pavers. Let's say you do custom or outdoor living spaces. Okay. Let's say you build pools. You have in-ground pool build and ground pool builds. Let's say you do gunite pool builds. Let's say whatever your services are. Okay, tree removal, tree trimming, tree certified arborist, tree care, plant health care. If you do lawn care, let's say you do landscape maintenance, you do lawn mowing, you do fertilization. So your services are all going to go in the service catalog. Okay? And you're going to hit save. And there it is. It's going to show service catalog. Okay? Lead forms, we can get into that later. Apps, if you're selling an app, which we're not. So that does not really apply. And then the big daddy is phone calls. Okay, we got all the main ones down, but probably the most important extension that you can add is going to be phone calls. So here, campaign level calls. This is where if somebody is on their mobile phone, they can just click right on the phone number without having to go onto your landing page or click your ad. You still get charged for the click, but it's people clicking right away from their phones wanting to get more information. Okay? We don't have any conversions set up. Your phone number, this is where you can put your main office number. You could put if you have a cell phone number, you could put it there. What we do is we create separate phone numbers just for these call extensions. We call it a mobile call, these call assets, okay? This is where we would use a third party. We prefer to use CalRail. It has the best tracking that you can have in the industry. It's very accurate, it's very easy to set up, and it integrates directly with Google Ads. So we're going to take you through the course for setting yourself up with CalRail, which is the preferred method. There are Google forwarding numbers, but we've noticed that the reporting isn't as great, and it's a lot less detailed. There's no call recording. There's a lot of different features that it doesn't have. So if you're really going to get serious about it, you'd want to put in a third-party phone number here. But for now, you could just put in your business phone number, and the call from ads, Google already created that as a conversion, which is fine. So we'll just do 337. This is our office, 706-0003. And we will put that in there. If you want calls on certain times, this is where you would limit that. But I wouldn't, because sometimes people are doing searches in the middle of the night and they can leave you a voicemail and you can call them back. Okay, so there it is. Hit apply. I've done 4 out of the 7. I don't do prices usually. I do structured snippets. Lead forms I usually don't do. URL, again, we're going to do this during the conversion tracking, okay? So here's all of our different stuff. Google's probably not going to like any of this because it's all scattered all over the place with services and all that, but for demonstration purposes, it's okay. So we're going to click next. Okay, we did all of our extensions at this level. There are still going to be a few more extensions that we're going to go through, okay, when we get into the campaign. Now we get to set our budget, okay? Google's going to say you should set your budget for $237 a day. And based on that, this is what they're saying that's going to happen for me. I set my own custom budget, and then I go in and we make adjustments as we go. But let's just do round numbers. So let's say I'm going to do $1,000 a month for my budget, okay? Google divides that by 30.4. Okay, because throughout the year, that's the average number of days per month. So 1,000 divided by 30.4 gives me $32.89, which I round up always to $33 a day. Your budget's way less than we want you to spend. Yeah, I figured. But I'm just trying to get all this in and set up, and then as we go, we make adjustments. So, go next. Okay. My campaign is ready to publish. So when I go in now and I click Publish Campaign, okay, so it says our campaign is ready to publish, but we have this big red notification saying you cannot show ads because you need to put in your billing information. Google says we need to get paid, so make sure you put in all the information so we can go. Now, this is just a sample campaign, just taking you through the steps. I'm going to go ahead and pause it. I would recommend you do the same because we're not ready yet. There's still some other things that we want to do. So if you wanted to go in, you would click Fix It, put in your organization name. When you put all this information in, you're going to make essentially what's called a profile account with a profile ID, and it's going to be tied to this Google Ads account and campaign. So you can put in your organization name, credit card, you can do PayPal, you can do a bank account if you want, and then you go. So I'm going to let you guys set that up on your own. I'm not going to do that in front of the camera. And once that's all set up, I'll see you on the other side. All right, welcome back. The campaign is officially set up. It's not finished, but at least it's set up. Hopefully you put in your billing information so they can accept your payments. I came back, I put in my information, and I am back at this home screen. Okay, Google's yelling at me because I can't show ads because they need to enter my billing information, and my campaign's paused. So, but that's okay. So now I'm in the overview page. Let me give you some advice. Let's hide these. This is a new view that they have, and I'm not used to it, and I don't really like it. So right up here, there's an icon. The little button says Change View. So when I do that, I can click up here, and this is the view that I'm used to. So I'm up here in the account view. So if I go to my campaign, I'm in the overview page. And if you click on Ad Groups, here's my ad group, Digital Marketing, which is paused. Everything's paused. If I click on Ads, it's going to show me the ad that I have running. It's not eligible. It's under review because it's paused. And then they show me my assets. Okay, let me move myself. I'll make myself smaller. Okay, so here are the assets that we created. Remember, we're at the campaign level, and right now I only have one ad group. So at the campaign level, I click All right here, and it shows my structured snippet, and it says it's at the campaign level. I have my site links. These are the 4 that I have. I have my call out. I have a promotion. I have a phone call. Now, they didn't let you set this up when you got there, or when we first created our first ad group with the ads and the headlines. So you're going to click on the plus button here. And this is really, really, really important for a local service company. That's a whole different discussion when we get into Google business profiles, but this location extension will connect your Google Ads campaign to your Google business profile. Okay, so it does have mine right here. If I'm already a manager of one, it'll show, but since this one, I just created this Gmail account just for this course, it's not connected to it, but it is tying my URL to this. So I could hit select and hit continue, and it will show, it will ask the manager of the Google business profile for access to it. Okay, so that request got sent out, but let's say I want to go to, I am associated with it. You'll click here, and it'll say one location, and you'll hit continue, and then it will show the locations that you are associated with, and you'll click those and add it. Let me go back one more time. Location. Let's see a preview. So it also will show the distance of how far that person is from the location, and then it does allow them to call. So that's what the location extension looks like, but we are going to show you examples of how these Google Ads campaigns get tied to your Google business profile, which is super, super, super important. Okay? Those are your main assets. They didn't give us all these options when we set it up, so we're going to go back. And I want to show you, if you click on locations, it shows the 2 that we're targeting and then the excluded one. But here, under advanced search, this is where you can get more granular. Okay, so let's say I am in St. Charles, Illinois, and I want to do a radius because I only want people that are a certain distance from my location. Let's say I'm a doctor. So we're going to do St. Charles, Illinois, target it for 10 miles. And there it is. Okay? You can always go in here and edit it. Like, I'm not getting enough searches. Let's go 15 now. It gets bigger. Okay, so now we can change, go by radius. It actually even gets more specific too. If I want to do Arlington Heights, it actually shows you, it gives you a range of the people that are in that area. So let's say I want to target all 500 or 463. It shows you the number. So you can go and get more specific. Okay, these are still set, save, done. Okay, we just took a look at the location. So now this is super important. Again, Google is trying to get paid. Okay, so when we set up our bidding, they said, what do you want to focus on, impressions or clicks? We put clicks. They think that automatically means that I want to focus on getting as many clicks as possible, and that's not true. I don't want to focus on just getting all the clicks that I can. So what we're going to do is they hide this from you. So this is where it's super important. You want to click on change the bidding strategy. Then they tell you this campaign will use maximize clicks. And then I'm going to say, I want to try a different strategy. I don't trust you, Google. And they say, that's not recommended. But listen to me, this is important. So this is where you click on that. And then here on maximize clicks, we always want to start these campaigns with manual. We want to set the terms for this, okay? So we did manual bidding. And as we start doing our conversion tracking and start getting conversions, then we'll let Google help us out a little bit to increase our cost per click with conversions. But for now, manual. Hit save. Okay. And now we are where we want to be. So when we go back to the campaign level, here's our campaign, and we're going to go look at our ad groups. And this is where in the ad group, we can set a default max CPC as cost per click for all the keywords there. Okay, so let's go back to $3. They need you to click it twice because it's a big increase from 1 penny. And then we're going to click on, if you click here or if you click on keywords, it'll take you to the same place. So now, each keyword, I'm going to bid $3. And as you start getting into these campaigns and you launch these, Google's going to say, hey, you're below the first page bid. It needs to be $4 or $5. This one's less. This one's more. So we can manually change these and say, you know what, this one's going to be expensive. Boom. Now I'm paying more for near me because that has a higher intent to buy. Okay, so this is where we can manually change the bids as we go. But we would not be able to do that if we didn't change the bidding strategy back in the campaign settings. Okay, that's a huge, huge tip. Next, we're going to need to start setting up our conversion tracking. Let's go. Welcome back and congrats on making it this far, but now is when it gets real. We are going to create the conversions in Google Ads. We're going to show you how we track form submissions, how we track phone calls using Google forwarding number. We're going to show you how we track the mobile call extension, and then we have an extra bonus at the end on how to take your campaign to the next level using a third-party call tracking software called CalRail. So let's get started. First of all, what is Google Tag Manager? It's a platform that Google has created that allows you to manage all of your tracking code snippets in one place on one platform. So you'll have Google Analytics, you'll have Google Search Console, you'll have Facebook Pixels, you'll have Google Ads conversion tracking. There's tons of different tracking codes that a lot of times you need to add to your site. And if you have to keep on going back into your site and changing the HTML code, it can be kind of cumbersome and it can be a lot of work. So this platform allows you to manage all of your different tracking codes in one place. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to set up an account and how to integrate that with all the other platforms. Okay, so first we're going to just go to Google Tag Manager. Okay, we're going to pick an account. This one is going to be for a nonprofit I started called Addie Joe's Footprints in honor of my daughter. Okay, so when you log in and create an account, this is what it's going to look like. There's nothing there. So this one, I'm going to create an account. The name is going to be Addie Joe's Footprints. The website. And this is for the web. So you get to choose which platform you want to target. Mine's just going to be a website I created for the nonprofit, and you hit create. Then down here, accept the terms and conditions. Hit yes. Okay. So it says install Google Tag Manager. Paste this code as high in the head tag as possible, and then this other code in the body tag. Hit OK. And now I'm here in my account. So you have a row here with 3 different links. If you go to admin, this right here, this is going to be really important if you want to install this in a WordPress website using a plugin. Okay. If you want to add people to it, you can install Google Tag Manager. This gives you that code if you want to manually do it. But here's where you'll find all your information. In this tutorial, I want to take you through Google Analytics, how to set it up, and what exactly it is. So Google Analytics is how you can measure how people interact with your website. So this is how we're going to get it set up. First, you're going to go to Google Analytics, and you're going to choose whichever account you have with Google. This one is for my nonprofit, Addie Joe's Footprints. So you're going to click Start Measuring. I'm going to move myself over. Let's make myself a little smaller. All right, the account name, I'm going to do Addie Joe's Footprints. Here is about data sharing. If you want to select those, it's fine. Go to Next. Property details. It's going to be the name. So you could do the same thing, or you could put the actual URL. So I'll do Addie Joe's Footprints website. Okay, and you want to do your time zone. I'm in Chicago. Advanced options. This is going to be going away soon, so you really don't even need to worry about it anymore. This is the old version. It's Universal Analytics. They're switching everything to G4. But if you want to add that for the next few months, you can. The website URL is addiejoesfootprints.org. So you could say create both Google Analytics and Universal, enhanced measurement, or if you just want the Universal one, which it's going to be going away, so don't worry about that. Hit Next. But then you get to talk about what your business is. So we are just a small nonprofit in how you want Google to measure it. So engagement on your site, optimize it, measure it against different platforms, sales, app installs, lead generation, other, that's fine. So create the ones that best fit your business. Create. You have to accept all their terms and conditions. Here and here, I accept. And then it has all the information that you need, okay? So you have your stream ID, your measurement ID, which you're going to need. So we can go ahead and copy that. So on and so forth. I don't have the tag set up on this yet, so that's why it's going to say it's not showing any data. So migrate. Yes, you can migrate that already because it's going to be stopping Universal. It's going to G4. Yes. Email communications. I don't like any emails. I get flooded with emails, so I'm just going to unselect all that. And then here is your account. Okay, so if you go up here, you'll see it has both. It has my universal, which is UA, and then it has G4. If you go home, there it is. So here's my measurement ID. I have another video that I already started regarding Google Tag Manager and what it is, but I'm going to keep on going. So now that I have my measurement ID, I'm going to go into my Tag Manager that I created. I don't have any tags yet. Okay, so when you go into Google Tag Manager, you're going to create a tag. Add new. This one is for Google Analytics G4. Tag configuration G4. You have Analytics G4 and event. Okay, so we want to install it just for G4 for right now. Measurement ID. This is where you're going to paste your measurement ID. And then you're going to tell Google, which pages do I want to track? So you go down to trigger, and you're going to hit all pages. Save. And now that's set up. And then you're going to hit submit. Continue. Done. Hey everybody, Mike Serwinski here with MetaLogic. I want to take you through how to set up your website with Google Search Console. So Google Search Console is a platform that allows you to see how Google interacts with your website. It shows you where your rankings are for certain queries. It shows you how much traffic you're getting. It shows you how your site maps are being indexed. It's a really, really powerful tool. So you have Google Analytics that shows you how visitors interact with your website. And then Google Search Console is how the search engine Google interacts with your website. So let's get started. So I created a Google Analytics account for the website, and I created a Google Tag Manager account. But now I need to integrate that with the website. So if I go to the website, it's a WordPress website, very common. I'm going to go to plugins. I'm going to add new, and I'm going to put in SiteKit. So here you have SiteKit by Google, Analytics, Search Console, AdSense, Speed. And then we're going to activate. All right. And this is going to show up right here. So if I go to SiteKit, it says connect Google Analytics as part of your setup. Sign in with Google. So this is the account that I use to sign in. Let's do that. Let's do that. Manage a list of sites. Okay, continue. I'm just going to select them all. All right. Have Google verify site ownership. Verify you own Addie Joe's footprints. So if I click verify, turn metrics on, allow, Search Console, set up. Set up analytics, next. And here we go. So which one do I want? We're going to do the only one that I set up for this, configure it. Congrats. Okay, got it. Search Console Analytics are gathering data. It can take up to 48 hours before you see it on the site. Okay, got it. So here it's connecting to all of those platforms. Now, if I go to Google Search Console, let's see what happens. Welcome to Search Console. Start. And it's not showing my performance yet, but by using SiteKit, it automatically integrates with everything that I've already done. Okay, so because I created a Google Analytics account, which is in another video, you'll see that it's verifying the ownership in Google Search Console. And then when we come back, we'll be able to see all the performance for Google Search Console. So it's a really, really easy way to do it through the plugin. If you're not using WordPress or you want to know how to manually do these things, then I'll show you that in another video, okay? Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to go through conversion tracking. Okay, so it's going to get a little technical, maybe a little confusing, but don't worry. I'm here to walk you through every step of the way. So to add a conversion, we're going to go to Tools and Settings, and we're going to go to Conversions. Okay, so click on the big blue button here, New Conversion Action. And the first conversion we're going to set up is if somebody fills out a form on your website or your landing page. So we're going to go to Website. They want to enter in our URL. So just put it in there for your landing page or your website. And then we get to create a conversion manually using code. Okay, so we're going to click the plus button. So they're going to tell you conversion actions that are created manually. You're going to have to change some of the code in the website. But most people are using a content management system like a WordPress or Wix or whatever it is. There's plenty of plugins where you can just embed it in there. So it's usually pretty easy. Okay, so the first one, goal and action optimization. So we have to create a category for this. So we're going to go down to the leads category and we want to submit a lead form. Conversion action optimization options. Okay, so add submit lead forms to account default. Since this is targeted for local service companies who want leads, we're just going to add it to the account. It's fine. Down here, they're asking, do you want this to be a primary action or a secondary action for them to count? So the two primary, there's actually going to be three primary leads. It's going to be submit lead form, it's going to be phone calls from the website or landing page, and it's going to be the phone calls from the call extension. Okay, so this is going to be a primary. We'll call this landing page form submission. That's just the name that the label we're giving it. Value. And once again, Google doesn't recommend it, but we're going to don't use a value because a lot of the times for values, people use that for e-commerce sites when they are trying to track how much revenue is coming. But for local service companies, that's it's pretty hard to track. So we're going to don't use a value. Count. We want just to count one. So if one person fills out the form, that's one. If the same person fills it out 2 or 3 times, maybe they couldn't figure it out the first time, there's a bug on the website, we don't want Google to count every single one of them because that's going to mess up our optimization. So always just click one. Click through conversion window. Okay, so this is conversions can happen days after your first ad. So how many days? I want to do as much as possible, so I always do 90. Engage view conversion window. This is for videos, so we skip that. View through conversion window. So the first one is click through. This one's view through. Select the maximum time after a person views your ad that you want it. I always do the max 30. Attribution model. Google, I think, is going to switch everything to data-driven anyway, but I like to do first click. So the first time they click on any of your ads, then they get the cookie, and it's set that way. Enable enhanced CPC. We're going to turn that off right now because the campaign's not even live yet. And sometimes if that's clicked on and you launch the campaign, it usually takes a while to get it started, and sometimes you don't get impressions for a while because Google's trying to figure out conversions and you don't have any conversions yet. So let's just click that off for now, and we're going to click done. Then we're going to click Save and Continue. And then we have these different ways for you to add the tag, the code for this conversion to your site. Since we already set up Google Tag Manager, we're just going to click Google Tag Manager, and then that's where you have your conversion ID and your the label for it. So if you have any questions on this, refer to the previous section where we go over Google Tag Manager, but it shows you exactly where to put these. So Once that's done, you click done, and that one is all set up. So I'm going to leave the guide. Okay. Now, the next one that we are going to want to set up is phone calls. Okay, so this one is going to be phone calls, and this conversion is going to be from the actual call extension that we have. Okay, so we're going to click on phone calls, and we're going to track the calls from ads using the call extension. We're going to click continue. Again, we have goal and action optimization. We want to make sure that this is a primary goal. And again, it's already highlighted for you, but you have your phone call lead. Okay, so we'll call this, we get to name it now, calls from call extension. Value, same thing, I'm not going to give it a value. And then count. I only want to count, again, one. I don't want to count the same person calling several times. This one is important. Call length. We want to make sure that we're counting quality calls. So not just any call should really count as a lead. So our rule of thumb is keep it at 60 seconds. If it's above 60 seconds, it's usually a decent lead. If it's under that, we don't want to count it. So we'll keep it at 60. The click-through conversion window, we're going to do as long as they give us. And then again, for the attribution model, we want, you can do first or last click with this one. We're going to click create and continue. You've set up your calls from call extension conversion action. Okay, so we're going to hit done. Now, this one is important too. So up here, before you even move on, I want to make sure that the call extension is set up properly. You're going to go up to settings, and the call conversion action that we want to make sure that they are tracking is the one that we just created. So calls from call extension. And we're going to click save. Customer data terms, we're going to enable that while we're in here. Enhanced conversion leads, we're not going to worry about that. We don't have any conversions yet. So that is all set up and ready to go in terms of conversions. But what we want to make sure is if we go back to our campaign and we go into our ads and assets and we go into call, so here it is. This was the one that we set up before. I'm going to click edit. And again, I want to make sure that it's tracking the right thing. So I'm going to switch the conversion action to, you can use account settings, or if you're going to do individual ones per campaign, you can do either one. It all depends on how your campaigns are set up. But we can just use account settings now. But I want to make sure calls from call extension is being tracked. So that's all set now. We're going to go back to conversions. So now we have people who submitted a form, and we have calls from the call extension. Now, a lot of people are going to go from their desktops or even from their phone. They're going to click on the ad, check out your landing page, check out your website, make sure you're legitimate and credible, and then they're going to click on the number on that site, or they're going to manually dial it with their cell phone. They're going to go on their desktop, check it out, and then dial it with their cell phone or landline if people still use those. Those calls are really tricky to track. So I'm going to show you some of the ways that we do that in the next tutorial. Okay, we're still on conversion tracking. I'm going to show you how to track phone calls from your website using a Google forwarding number. We don't typically do this because we get much better reports using a third party, but this one is free. So, or I show say it's included in the service that you're going to be paying Google for the clicks. So let's show you how to do it. So again, we're in conversions, tools, conversions. We're going to add a conversion action. This is going to be a phone call. Last time we did call extensions and call only ads. This time we're going to do calls to a phone number on your website. We're going to click that one and we're going to hit continue. Okay, so up here, again, the goal, we're going to do phone call lead. It's already created. This is an important one, so we want to make sure that this is also primary. We're going to call this calls from number on website. Value, again, same as the other ones. I don't do a value. And then count. We just want one. We don't want to keep counting the same one. So down here, we're going to go to phone numbers. So you have your destination number. Enter the phone number callers should reach when they call from your website. So this is the one that I used from before. 337 706 3. Okay, so down here we have display number. Enter the phone number people see currently on your website or landing page, and that should be replaced by the Google forwarding number. Be sure to enter it exactly as it appears on the site. So it has to be identical. So however it is formatted, you're going to put it in here. Call length, again, we want it to be 60 seconds. Click through window. I want it as long as possible. And then I'm going to do first click. I'm going to hit save and continue. Okay, so now we can install it ourselves or go email it to somebody who knows what they're doing, or we could do Google Tag Manager. And since we already have Google Tag Manager set up, this is how we're going to do it. So again, we have the conversion ID and we have the label. And we're going to go into our Google Tag Manager and we're going to set it up. Install the Google Ads conversion tracking tag, which is already set up. But now we have to tell Google Tag Manager which event we want to measure. So that's where we're going to go next. Okay, we have created the conversions. However, we haven't set it up in Google Tag Manager yet. So it's not going to be able to track yet. So this is how we're going to do it. Let's start with the landing page form submission. We're going to go in here and we're going to click on the tag setup and we're going to go to Google Tag Manager. It's going to show us the conversion ID and the conversion label. So I'm going to need the label right off the bat, so I'm going to copy this one. And we're going to go back into our Google Tag Manager. So from here, I have the tags that we set up before for Google Analytics. But now it's time to get into Google Ads. So we're going to make a new tag and we're going to call it Google Ads conversion tracking, and we'll do form submission. Okay, so we're going to click on tag configuration. We're going to go Google Ads conversion tracking. Now it's going to ask for the conversion ID. We're going to paste that in there. We're going to go back to our Google Ads, and I need the label. I'm going to copy that, go back to Google Tag Manager, and put that conversion label in there. So that's all set up. But now we need to tell Google, hey, it only is going to count if somebody fills out the form and lands on a thank you page. So it's extremely important that you have your thank you page set up. Okay? So if you have any questions on that, refer to one of the previous lessons where we go over creating a thank you page. So here, all we see is all pages and then these other two that Google gives you. So we're going to hit the plus button. We're going to call this thank you page. Okay, we're going to click on this and it's going to be a page view. So once this thank you page is viewed, that counts as a conversion because the only way they can get there is through filling out the form. So we don't want it to trigger on all pages. We want to only trigger it on some pages. And we're going to label that. We're going to say only count a conversion for this specific URL. So the URL equals, and for this one, it's my nonprofit. So I'll put in the URL / thank you, because that's the page we have created. And now that's set up. So we're going to hit save. So now we're saying, hey, if they land on the site, tag them. And if they end up on this page, the thank you page, counted as a conversion. So we hit save. Okay, so the form submission conversion is set up. However, we still have to add the conversion linker. Okay, so if we go back to where our conversion is in Google Ads, and we click here in the tag setup in Google Tag Manager, you'll see your ID and your label, but you'll see step number 2. Make sure you add conversion linker tag, or else it won't work. So we're going to go back to Google Tag Manager. We're going to click New, and we're going to label this tag Google Ads Conversion Linker. When you click on Tag Configuration, it's right here, Conversion Linker. And we are going to trigger this on all pages. No configuration required. We just have to make sure this tag is in there. Then we click Save. Okay, and now when those two are set up, then we'll click Submit, Publish, Continue, and now it's all set up. Now it's on to the next one. Congrats on finishing conversion tracking. I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes setting up the conversion tracking is a huge pain in the ass, but we have to do it to properly track the campaign. So we made it this far. Now it's time for us to launch. Let's go. Welcome to the bonus section where we're going to tell you how the pros use CalRail for all of our call tracking in Google Ads. Okay, this third-party software integrates directly with Google Ads. It gives you detailed keyword information. It shows you call duration. If it's a first time or a repeat caller, it lets you segment that out in Google Ads. It has dynamic number swapping. It even allows you to switch the area code based on the IP address of the people visiting your website. So it's super, super effective for local service companies and lead generation with Google Ads. So let's get started and show you why we love CalRail so much.
So what we use is CalRail. Okay, if you're not familiar with CalRail, it is hands down the best call tracking software that's on the market right now. Okay, so there are different pricings. If you were going to do this on your own, you could pick either one of these. If it were me and I was just going to try it on my own, I would do just the regular call tracking, $45 a month. Okay, that would give you enough 5 local numbers. That's all you need, and I'll show you why. And then it gives you plenty of minutes. And if you need more numbers or minutes, you can always add on to that package. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to go into CalRail. I'm going to go into my account. I'm going to go into account settings, companies. So I'm going to make one just as a test. We'll call it MetaLogic Test. Choose your right time zone. We are in, let me just type it in, Central Time, and then the primary phone number, okay? This is the phone number that we want the calls to be forwarded to. I'm going to use this one. So you get to choose, and you put that in there. Add users. If you need to add a user, do it. But when you set it up, you will be the only user. So you'll be automatically checked just like I am right here. So I'm going to create the company. Now I need to create tracking numbers. Okay. So now I'm going to scroll down to the account that I just made, MetaLogic Test. Okay. We're going to use this online. Websites, search ads, and more. We're not using it for we don't do that offline stuff. That doesn't work anyway. So what we're going to want to do is put it on the website. Okay. And we're going to track calls, keywords, and I don't really care too much about web sessions because I use other tools for that, but I want to track all the calls and the keywords. Okay. So where do you want to route these calls? I'm going to use the same number that I had Okay, so if you have another number that you want it to be routed to, and you can always change it later, this is where you'd put it. And then you put in your tracking options. Okay, I'm only doing these for Google Ads. So we specialize in helping local service companies get calls and leads. So, and we do it through Google Ads. That's our primary method. If we wanted to try a different vehicle like Facebook or any social media, then we can create one for that. But this is for Google Ads, okay? Okay. So how many numbers do we need in the pool? Now, minimum, if you hover over right here, we need 4 numbers to put in a pool. And this is why we're making a pool, okay? This number right here, when somebody clicks on your ad and goes to your landing page, this number will dynamically swap. And it will go into one of the 4 numbers we're about to create, okay? And I'll show you an example how that works. So CalRail needs 4 numbers to rotate in order to do dynamic number insertion or call swapping, okay? So you need 4, and then you can pick which area code, okay? So we're gonna do 337 because that was the number that I used. And you can just call this whatever you want. I'll call it Google Ads Website Pool, okay? Number of features. Now you can have a whisper message, which a lot of my clients actually, they appreciate. So whenever they get a call, if you put this on there and say, call from Google Ads. So for call recording, it depends on where you're located. You'll have to read the legal note and see if your area requires that you notify somebody that your call is going to be recorded. So this is where sometimes when you call numbers and they say, this call will be recorded for quality assurance purposes. That's why, because they're letting you know it's being recorded. This can come in handy though, if you're getting a lot of calls and you're not closing a lot of sales. It's either the quality of the call or it's the quality of the salesperson. It's one or the other. So, and if you have that recording, you can go back and see what's going on with your sales team. So we're going to activate the number. And it says we're all set and ready to go. Okay, so let's go see our numbers. Let's refresh because it's only saying 2. There's our 4 numbers. Boom, right here. Okay, so these are the 4 numbers that they gave us. Now, we need to tell CalRail that this is going to be associated with campaign, and we need to tell CalRail which numbers we're going to be swapping. So they need to have a little snippet of code that goes onto your site. We primarily work with WordPress. It's the best platform out there, user-friendly, has all the tools you need to be effective online. So that's what this tutorial is going to be about. So the first thing you have to do, and it'll tell you, install the Java snippet on your website. So you can click here, or you can click on this link, and it takes you here. So you can do it through Google Tag Manager. You can do it through WordPress, or you could do it through Wix. So let's do Tag Manager, because in my other videos I have gone through Tag Manager. So we're going to take this, we're going to copy it, this snippet right here, choose Custom HTML in the Custom section, paste the code below into the HTML box. I'm going to bring in my Tag Manager. Okay, so this is the account. I'm going to go to Tags. I'm going to add a new one. Okay, so this one's going to be called, I always do GADS for Google Ads, CalRail Call Tracking. Okay, so tag configuration, remember you can hover over both of these. We're going to do this. I'm going to move myself. We're going to do custom HTML tag. Okay. Remember I copied this. Move myself again. So remember I copied this right here. Okay, so we'll copied. Go here. We're going to add the HTML. But we have to tell them where we want this to be triggered. Okay. We want this on all pages that have that URL on it. So we're going to do all pages. Save. Here it is. And we're going to hit submit. So this is going to pop up saying, hey, do you want to make a description? Just publish it. Continue. And we are set. So let's go back here. Remember, we have Google Tag Manager in settings, Google Tag Manager. It's already installed properly. Here's the code. It's on, off. But what we want to do now is check to make sure that this is going to swap. Okay, so in order to, I'll leave a link on how to do this. But what you're going to want to do is add these parameters to your URL. /?gclid equals test. Okay, but we're going to copy that. So if I did this here, watch this. It didn't change. That's because this version of this site is cached. So we want to go up. I use Chrome. We're going to do an incognito window. Paste it. And if you saw it real quick, it's switched. Let's do it again in case you missed it. I'm going to do incognito window. Paste. Now watch that number. Boom. There it is. It switched. Okay. So that means it's working. So the number and the client, whoever's looking at this landing page, they're not going to look at this number. It takes a split second. But we do know that the swapping is working. So that worked with Google Tag Manager. So when I go back to my CalRail account, I can go into my tracking. And remember, you can click on those 4 numbers and it will show you that these 2 numbers were shown just a minute ago and a few seconds ago. Came from Google Ads because I simulated that with my gclid parameters. So from Google Ads and my browser. There's no keyword associated with that yet because we haven't tied that to our Google Ads account yet. Okay, so that's going to be coming up next. Okay, so let's go back to integrations. Next, we're going to do WordPress. Okay, so when I click here, I click on WordPress. Right there is my company plugin. Okay, so if I copy that, so what we're going to do now is go back to the website. We need to go to plugins. Again, we're going to go to add new, and we're going to search for CalRail. So here it is. Here's their plugin for WordPress. Install now. Activate. Okay. Now, once again, if I go into settings, so we're going to do CalRail. And remember this one right here. We took this and we copy it. I'm going to put it right here. Enable, save changes. It's been saved successfully. Okay, now let's go back here. Let's go back to our integrations. Back to JavaScript. Let's start the test. I just added the URL for this landing page right here. And your code was properly installed. So again, it works. You can run another test if you'd like. We still have that from before. It's not going to change. Copy it. Open a new incognito window. Watch that number real quick. There it is. So it changed. Okay, so we've properly installed the CalRail plugin. And then we're going to move on. So back in CalRail, we do have 4 numbers set up for the website pool. But what I like to do is get one more. Since you paid for 5, and I want to use this number for the mobile click-to-call extension. And the reason is, right now in our campaign, we have that set up, but that's all we have. I mean, it doesn't give you as much detail as the CalRail does. So it gives you the name, the phone number, the call duration, first time, If it was not if it was a repeat call, it's just a lot more data. And the more data you have with these campaigns, the better. Okay, so when we get to this page, we're going to use it online, but we're not going to use it on the website. We're going to use it in our Google Ads. So this is going to be in an ad extension, and I'm going to use it for both in case somebody wants to have it on their desktop show up, and then they manually do it. Then I want it there as well. So we're going to route the calls to the same place. Phone number set up. So we get to pick which one we want. Doesn't matter. I'm going to call this, we're going to call it Google Ads Call Extension. Same thing, you can do the whisper message and the call recording if you want. I'm going to activate it. So now we're all set up. So now we have a call extension and the website pool. So those are set up. The numbers are swapping, but right now this campaign is not tied to Google Ads. So we're going to do that next. So we're going to go back to integrations, and we're going to connect it to our Google Ads account. So you click there, you're going to sign in to your Google Ads account. So it's saying right here, CalRail wants to access to your Google account. So you have to allow it if you want to do this. Okay, so this is where you get to pick which accounts. So I'm just going to pick the one that we have in here. This is the Google Ads account, okay? So here it is. This is really, really important. I'm going to show you why in a little bit. You want to send the calls as conversions. You can either create one conversion for all calls, or you can separate them into first-time callers or repeat callers. So I don't want to count every single call as a conversion, because if somebody calls 3 or 4 times, that's going to mess up my data in Google Ads, and that doesn't count as 4 leads. It's really just 1. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to activate it. So it's right here, and it's all done. It says active. Let's X out of that. Let's go back to integrations. You'll see that that's set up. Let's go to the mobile click-to-call extension now. So I'm going to sign in. Again, you have to sign in, do the same thing, allow it. Same thing, select the company. And then you have to pick which number you want to use. There's only one that we haven't used. If you had a bunch of them set up, you would see a whole list, but we only have the Google call extension set up. Activate. And now we are all set up with Google Ads, mobile click to call, our snippet is firing, we're all set and ready to go. So here's the cool thing. When you go into Google, it integrates directly with it. When you go into your Google Ads account, when I hit refresh, now you see submit lead form, still good. Mobile click to call is still there, but we're going to change that number. And then it's segmented it out, first time and repeat. I don't want to count repeat calls as leads. So I'm going to click on that and I'm removing it. I don't want that action. Now, one thing you're going to want to do when you click on first time, and if you edit the settings, it's a first time phone call, so we can change the name. It is a primary action, so we're keeping it. Okay. Import from clicks automatically populates because it came from a third party. We're going to count every conversion because it's a first time call. Every time we get a new caller, that counts as a conversion. Click through a conversion window, 90 days. I like to do first click on this, but then again, they are going to change data driven. Everyone's going to have to do it. And then we're just going to leave the offline conversions because this is not an offline conversion. And we click done. And then we click back. Now for mobile click to call, we're going to go back into CalRail, go into our tracking, take that number, and then we're going to go back to, so we're going to go into our campaign. We're going to go into our ads, extensions, and we're going to see our call extension. So we're going to go in here, click edit, We're going to change our number. So that's the call tracking number. Remember, this is from CalRail. We're putting that in here. I'll make it look the way that they want it. And we want mobile click to call. You can use it for all because we're going to use that same number for all the campaigns. Click save. And it's under review. I'm going to make a separate video in case sometimes these get rejected. Then there's just a way you have to link up to a different, do a different verification, and then it'll go through. But a lot of times these will work. So now it's set up. Let's go back into our conversions. Mobile click to call. Make sure all of our settings are right. So we have mobile click to call as the name. It is a phone call lead. Cancel. You can add a value if you want. I usually don't. Calls from ads. Count this as one conversion. Not every one, because we don't want to count every phone call. Now this one for mobile click to call gives you an option. So you can do a call length. We like to put 60 seconds minimum. So if it's a 60-second call, then that usually means it's a decent sales call. If it's under 60 seconds, I don't want to count that as a conversion because that was not a good lead. Click through conversion window. I want to set that 60 days. And now for mobile click to call, I want to make this the first click, because that's if they're on their phone or if they're looking at it on their desktop, that's the first click that they take. So I want to count that as a first click conversion. Save. Done. We'll go back. If we want to do the keyword tracking, we're going to have to go back to our campaign. Okay, so now I'm at the account level. So you can see if I click on my campaigns up here, I have the option to see campaigns and then settings. Now, if I go to the account settings, this is where you can have call reporting and make sure it's turned on. Okay, that has to be turned on in order for this to work. So once that's saved, then we're going to go to our campaign level. And you're going to click on campaign settings. Here you can hover, or you click on both of them, click edit. And we're going to need to add a tracking template parameter to these campaigns to properly track all the keywords associated with these. So when you go in here, you're going to say change tracking templates. Okay, so in order to find this tracking template, it's not super easy in CalRail. So I'm going to add it. I'm going to copy and paste it in the notes below, but I'm also going to show you how to find it. So when you go back to your CalRail account, so what I did, I went to Google Ads, and right here there's an article. And then right here there's a link. And then if you scroll down right here, keywords aren't appearing in CalRail, then you click applying the parameter to it. So I'll set up I'll get this link too and put it in there too. Here it is. This is the parameter that you want to put in at the campaign level. So copy that, put it right here, and hit apply. Now this is going to be applied to all the URLs that you have in each campaign, so you don't have to do it individually. Okay, and it can take a little bit of time, so just be patient with it. So we have that. If I hit close, now we can test to make sure that it's being shown on the landing pages. So we're going to go, and we want to do that by changing the columns here. So you're going to change your column, modify, and then right here you'll see tracking template. I'll move it up to the front so you can see. Now really you just kind of, you don't have to put the URL in there because it's already in the ads. So if you just hit test, it'll show you if these are found. And all of mine have been found. Save, and now we're done. So now that it's all found, all the conversions are set up, we are ready to rock and roll. So then you can log into your account. When you go up to Analytics, so you can see now which tracking number you have, the time, the call duration, who it was, first time call. If you have a circle, it's a first time call, the keywords associated with it, and then we can optimize accordingly. So now you can track the call extensions and the actual phone calls that are coming from your landing page.
Welcome back and welcome to what we call the big show. This is where the magic happens. We created the campaign, we set up all the conversion tracking, we're launching the campaign, and now we have to start optimizing it. This is where we separate the pros from the amateurs. I'm going to take you through our process for optimizing a brand new campaign. I'm going to show you how we set up the columns to effectively do that. And I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks that we do as well. Okay? So let's get started. All right. Welcome back. The campaign is launched. We are going to start collecting data and we are going to start optimizing this campaign. Okay? So the campaign that I gave as an example to set up, I am not using for this because I want to show you an actual campaign so you can see how I look at some of these metrics and how I set up my columns for optimizing, okay? So before we get started, I want to take you through just the overall platform and how you can start navigating it, okay? So right here, this far left column, that's where you're going to have your different campaigns. And if you're above your campaign, you're going to see you're at the account level. You can collapse that if you'd like. You can move it in. When I click on campaigns, it's going to show you all the different campaigns that I have live, all on one screen. Okay, Google switches things around a lot. So if I want to up here, this workplace filter, it used to be down here, but now it's up here. If you want to look at the ones that are enabled or paused, or all of them, the ones that have been removed, this is where you would do that. Ad group status as well. This is where you click all enabled or enabled and paused. You can see as you start optimizing these campaigns, you're going to start pausing some ad groups and keeping other ones enabled. But if you want to start looking at past data, this is where you're going to be able to compare enabled versus the ones that were running in the past. Okay? Here, we're at the campaign level, and once you start clicking through one of these campaigns, it's going to take you to the ad group level. So if I go to Texas and I click on Texas, it's going to show you which ad groups I have going. But if you look over here to the top or to the left column, you're going to see Texas is highlighted, and these are the two enabled ad groups. So technically we still are at the campaign level. Okay, so if I wanted to go and click on this ad group, you can click on it from there, or you can click on it from over here to switch back and forth. Okay, once you do that, Google is going to show you the keywords. Now here, keyword status, you can see which ones are enabled and which ones are paused. So I just want enabled ones. And you can see which ones you're bidding on. We're still at the ad group level. Here, you can click on ads and assets. You can see which ad is running. And at the ad group level, you can click on your assets, and it'll show you all of your site links, callouts, which level these site links are at, the status, everything. And this is where you can add new assets if you'd like. And this is where you can manage them at the ad group level. So let's go back to keywords. These are the search keywords. If you click right underneath there, you have your negative keywords, and it'll take you to all the negative keywords that you have. And then up here, they just changed it. You have insights and reports, and you can see the search terms that people are actually putting into Google to trigger your ad. Okay, that is the basic part. Now at the ad group level, you do have the ability to target audiences. So you can go by age, gender, household income at the ad group level. You can really, it's the easiest way to control these is at the ad group level. And since we started our campaign with manual bidding, Google allows us to make a bid adjustment on these different demographics. Okay, so now I click back on at the account level for the campaigns. You see my cursor here. These are the campaigns that I have running. Now, at the campaign level, this is how we set up our columns. Okay, I want to tell you what we like to have on display at the campaign level for columns. So this is very important. Some people like it in different orders, but all of our employees have these columns that we track all the time as metrics, okay? So you have conversions, which are super important, cost per conversion, conversion rate. These are the most important metrics here. I like seeing how much I spend on the cost per click, how much we're spending over this period for each campaign. Now, when we get into competitive data, we want to see search impression share. Now that's how many times your ad is being shown when people are searching for your keywords. So it's the percentage. So this campaign in particular, 66.77% out of 100 people who are searching for the keywords I'm bidding on, they are being shown 66% of that time. Okay? So the search top impression share is the percentage of the time your ad is being shown. What percentage of that is being shown at the top part? Okay? And now the next part is the search absolute top impression share. And that is what percentage of the time is your ads being shown number one. Okay. This is where it gets tricky because sometimes number one isn't always best. Okay. Being in the number two, number three usually is a little bit more cost effective and you get a better return on your investment. Okay. But this will at least tell you how you are competitive wise and you can adjust your bids accordingly. Now, search loss to rank. This is important because it's telling you how well your campaign and your ads are running with a ranking system that Google has called Ad Rank. Okay. So if this is high, then we need to do a lot of adjustments. If it's low, then we're in good shape. Okay. So some of the campaigns that we're running for a while, they're lower. Some of them that we just launched, like a few of these, they're higher. We need to make adjustments. Now, budget. This is telling you search lost impression share budget. So this tells you how often your ad did not show because you don't have enough money in the budget. Okay, so if you are doing really, really well and you have a percentage here where there's room, bump the budget up. Now, if these are all zeros, then it's all about optimization. Okay, so ideally, I like having these low, low, low. That means that our campaign is tight, tight, tight. Clicks, impressions, and click-through rate, and then your bid strategy. So when you have a lot of campaigns going, I like seeing, sometimes I forget which campaign has what strategy going, but these that we start, we're at CPC, manual cost per click with enhanced conversions. And then some of these are doing really well and we switched them over. So, and then the click-through rate is how many, the number of clicks divided by the impressions, which is when your ad is shown, and that gives you the percentage. So the higher the click-through rate, the better. So that is how we like to have our columns set up at the campaign level. Now how we do that is we click on columns, and then you can click modify. And so all these different things here will tell you all the different things that you can measure. So performance has your clicks, cost, impressions, click-through rate, cost per click. Conversions. We want conversions, cost per conversion, conversion rate. That's pretty much all that we worry about for local service companies for lead generation. Next, we're going to skip down to attributes. And this is where I like having the bid strategy type. It tells you how your campaign is, how you're bidding. And then we have optimization score, which I like. Next, we have competitive metrics. I like search impression share, search top impression share, absolute top, rank, and budget. So lost, that's what the impression shares are that we're losing based on the rank and the budget. And then you can go over here to the right column and you can click on these bars and move them however you'd like. And then this is a trick. You want to make sure you save your column, because if you don't save this, Google will go back to some default mode and it won't save your changes. So you want to make sure you save it, and just save this one since it's at the campaign level. Just save it as campaign. Done. Okay, click save, and there you have it. So I have mine at campaign. So let's move on to the ad group level. All right, moving on to the ad group level. So let's click on one. I'm going to choose this one for now. And now our columns are going to change a little bit. Okay. We like having the same metrics. I like conversions, cost per conversion, conversion rate, average cost per click, the cost you're spending, how much you're spending, search impression share, search top, search absolute top, and then lost because of rank. So we can get into this at the ad group level. So we can see this one is performing better than this one. Okay, same thing. Go to columns and you can modify it, and it will give you all the options. And now one option it does not give you is you can have search lost impression share rank, but you can't have it at budget because you don't set the budget at the ad group level. You set the budget at the campaign level. So that's why it won't let you show that. And then same thing, what you're going to want to do, save it and save it as ad group. And then we can apply that to all the ad groups. Click save, and then it's saved. Okay? That's how you want to do it at the ad group level. Now, let's move forward. Now, when I click on one of these ad groups, I'm going to be in the ad group level, and it's going to take me to search keywords. Now, the column's going to be a little bit different because we are on manual bidding. Okay? So it's going to tell you which keyword we are bidding on. It's going to show you the match type. It's going to show you the status. And this is where if you're bidding too high or too low, it's going to tell you how much you're currently bidding. And you can adjust these bids per keyword at this level. So if I want to change it, we can change it here. Now, I like having the same thing. I like having conversions, cost per conversion, conversion rate, average CPC, search impression share, and cost. Okay, now here's the difference. I can do search impression share at the top, and then I can say, hey, Google, what is your estimated top of page bid? And they're thinking it is. Now let me go back. I did put base max CPC here because as you start scrolling, you'll see my CPC column gets lost. So I don't have to keep scrolling. Okay. So if I have here, if I put that right here, I can scroll horizontally, and I can still see what my base is for my CPC. Google's saying estimated page bid at the top of the page, just to be in the top 3 or 4, $5.84. Okay, so if I go there and I move my max from 20 to 5, is it going to add any clicks? No, and really they're not giving me the metrics. And sometimes Google doesn't. This column they do. They tell me, hey, if you bid up, you're not gonna add any clicks, but you're gonna increase your cost. Okay, so this column right here is the estimated added cost per week if I were to bid at $5.84. So it wouldn't cost me anything more.
Now here is search absolute top impression share. This is the very top. I am at the top 44.34% of the time. And the first position bid is $20.52. Okay? Now, if I were to bid $20.52 instead of $20, they're saying I wouldn't get another click and it wouldn't cost me anything more. Okay, I do have a high quality score. Oh, and then also we want to have clicks, impression share, click-through rate, and quality score. The higher the quality score, the better. Okay, so let's go through another example. Same thing. This keyword, my columns are telling me I'm bidding right now $19. I'm at the top of I'm being shown 89% with my search impression share, and of that, I'm being shown at the very top about 85%. Now the bid is $9.39, and that's too low. So, but my search impression share at the absolute top is 52, and the estimate that the first position bid is $12.45. Okay, so I'm actually pretty high here. So if I actually bumped it down a little bit, it would save me. I wouldn't get any more clicks, but I would save about $5.86. Okay. Quality scores are a little low, so I may have to adjust my ads and landing page to get a better score. Okay. Okay, but these are the columns that we want. Again, go to columns, modify, and save it as search keywords. Okay, so we can save it for all the other ones. So I do it for keyword. And that's how we want these set up. Okay, so then you get a lot of data. Now, let's go and take a look at search terms. Finished up the columns at the campaign level, ad group level, and the search keyword level. Now we want to go to the search terms. So we're going to go to this column right here where it says Insights and Reports. Yours might look a little different, but depending on when you're viewing this, they used to have under keywords, search keywords, negatives, and then search terms, but they moved it on me. So I'm up here now. So search terms, this is going to show us which keywords people are putting in their browser to trigger your ad. Now we want to set up columns for this as well. So what we want, some of these are going to be by default, but again, I want conversions, cost per conversion, conversion rate. But this right here, this column for keyword is so important. Okay, so we're going to go to columns and we're going to add keyword and put it as far to the left as you can. And I'll tell you why. But we also want average CPC, cost. I like impression share, like how often for these search terms are my ads being triggered at the top and absolute top. And then we have clicks, impressions, and click-through rate. Okay, so we're going to go to columns and we're going to modify. We're going to go to recommended. They have conversions, cost per conversion, conversion rate, performance. Now we want right here under attributes is keyword. That's showing which keyword you're bidding on is triggering that search term. And I moved it all the way up here. Save it as search terms. Done. Okay, now I want to show you something. When you scroll all the way down and I look at impressions, Google is showing, they're going to show me 121 and then 17 clicks. But if you look down here, it says total ad group. There was actually twice as many. There's 230 and 29, and they're not showing me half of them. I'm only seeing 121 impressions. They're not going to show me all 230. Okay? So here, if you look under here, it says total search terms shown in this report. This only includes terms that were used by a significant number of people. So some of these other terms, the other search terms, if you hover over it, total search terms not shown in this report that resulted in click but were not searched by
searched on by a significant number of people. So they're only showing you the significant ones. So we want to be super careful when we start excluding these. Now, we've gotten into trouble in the past where we start a campaign and just start making all these keywords, negative keywords, and the campaign tanks. Because we don't know all of the ones that contributed to conversions. I only know, in this time span, I only know 3, but there were 8. Okay, so we don't have all the data, but we're going to do the best we can with what Google gives us. Okay, so this is where in the search term column, you're going to see the keywords that triggered, we're going to see the search term that people typed in that triggered this keyword. We want the search term to match up with the keyword as much as possible. Okay, so when you start seeing some of these keywords that just don't make any sense to you, make it a negative. We went through all the different negative match types and what they mean. So this is where you'll see one of these. I'm just going to click on one. And right here, you can add it as a negative. So if I click negative, it's going to prompt, hey, do you want these negatives to just be applied to this ad group, or do you want it to the whole campaign? Or if you want to create a negative keyword list, you can create that and apply it to the whole account. But I typically don't do that. I work on a micro scale because I'm OCD about it. And I usually do campaign or ad group. Okay, so that's where you get to determine where you want to put it. So as I mentioned earlier in the course, half the battle is finding the right negatives. And then half the battle is finding which search terms are working the best and allocating funds to those and getting rid of the ones that are not converting that well. Okay, so this is very important. The search terms are very, very important. So there you have it. Now you know how to set up your columns, how you can adjust your bids, how you can make negative keywords, and you know where to find all your ads, and you know where to find your site links. There are some advanced techniques that we will go through in an online course just for optimizing lead generation campaigns, but this is a really good start on having the right information in front of you and giving you the tools to get your campaign off the ground. Thank you very much. We'll hope to see you soon. Congrats on finishing the final section of this course. This is how we start to optimize our Google Ads campaigns for lead generation. So there's so much more that goes into it, and we're going to be creating more courses to help you along the way. But this is more than enough to get you started. Again, congratulations. You did it. You finished the first course on Google Ads lead generation for local service companies. Congratulations. You deserve a huge pat on the back. It's a lot of work setting these things up properly and then taking all the time to optimize it. Google Ads is a beast of a platform, and it changes all the time. And it's hard to do it right. And that's why a lot of companies pay a lot of money to hire somebody to run a productive Google Ads campaign. And thank you again for spending all of your time out of your busy schedule to improve yourself and develop yourself professionally. It really is it's a big achievement. So you should be proud of yourself. We hope you found this helpful, and we hope to see you in the next training. Take care.